Hello there, Bick Benedict here. We're playing Uncharted 3 Remastered on brutal difficulty. This is my guide and walkthrough. We're currently on chapter 20 of 22. It is entitled Caravan. So, what we're going to do is try to save Sully, who's at the topmost part of a convoy that we're going to be trying to catch up with. Now, this was another one of the situations where first of all, let me tell you that I have completed the entire Brutal 3 guide, but it was one of those videos that I looked back on with a couple of regrets because I had passed along some misinformation, so I wanted to come back and amend some of the things that I said. So I decided, let's just redo the entire chapter, see if we could do it a little bit better. Now, the first checkpoint on this area is very difficult to clear because you've got to do some quick and accurate firing, and it's one of those situations where you've got to really be aware of what's shooting you because you might not even know what is hitting you. So I'm here to provide as much clarity as I can so that we can get you guys through this difficult part. Now, once we get to the first couple of trucks at the rear of the convoy over here, Salim, the rider in front of us, is going to jump on to the rightmost truck, and then the game is going to give you the option of jumping onto the leftmost truck or just shooting the target. Now, in addition to these two targets here, you've got two motorcycle riders up ahead, and those guys need to be dealt with. Now, the thing about this is, there's going to be motorcycle riders spawning periodically, and you have to know when they spawn. So now that we've taken care of those two, you want to ride up to this truck, take care of this guy, and then quickly wheel around because you're going to have two more motorcycle riders spawning. Now, this guy spawns when you close in on the truck that we just took that guy out from. The next motorcycle rider and the second and final one will spawn after you get up a little ways up. So that's all the motorcycle riders for now. Now, to get yourself a checkpoint, all you need to do is quickly kill these two enemies, and you have to do so within mere seconds of one another. And I can guarantee that after you did what I just showed you here, you do get a checkpoint. So you get a checkpoint right about over here, and you also get a checkpoint when you're supposed to be jumping on the truck and taking out the vehicles with the RPG. So I believe me, I know how hard it is to get that first checkpoint cleared. It didn't take me too long on this project. The first time it took me about half an hour. When I came back to the video to redo it, it took me 2 tries, and it's just sheer luck, guys. It's luck and patience. It's what it is. But anyway, here's the next checkpoint. So I just want to tell you that I absolutely know how hard it is to nearly simultaneously take out those two riders because it doesn't make too much sense. At the beginning, Salim helps you take out one of the enemies, and then for some reason the game doesn't program him to take out the other enemy that you're supposed to take care of after you kill the first guy, and now it's, you're not going to see any edits over here because I didn't die anywhere. Now, one of the inconvenient parts about this is that you cannot swap your shoulders, so it makes it a little bit difficult. You've got to imagine, guys, that that this is hard even on crushing. So brutal difficulty is going to be a nightmare for some folks. I can see people getting really, really upset. Like when I did my guide a couple years back, trying to clear that first checkpoint, I was the amount of being upset that I was just indescribable. How upsetting it was. But you've got to remember that you always have to wheel back on those two motorcycle riders because you can be as accurate as you want killing those two enemies nearly simultaneously. But if you don't know there's motorcyclists coming up on you from behind, then they can just kill you. So you've got to be really careful about that. So I was actually quite proud of this footage. And this Redux video, I shaved off about 5 minutes of it because we have some pretty difficult battles after we save Sully. So I just want to I just wanted to let you know that the motorcyclists, there's not an infinite number of them, so you don't have to keep worrying that there's more spawning behind you. There's only ever going to be those two, twice over, two at the beginning, and then two as you're approaching that that pair of trucks where two enemies spawn out. So it's you know, I can't do it for you. That's the problem. I really wish it was something that I could just help you with more, but as it stands, it's incredibly difficult. So, but anyway, now it's over. So it is one of the more difficult checkpoints of Uncharted 3, to be sure. But it's just one of dozens and dozens of hard parts on brutal difficulty, you know. Okay, so let's talk about the brute. When you're on the horse, you have to jump to the car that the brute's on. You cannot shoot the brute from the horse, so you've got to jump on here and do a fist fight. This bitch almost put me down. You'll see. He I think he just kicked me and he put me to the critical. But we've faced these brutes 1,000 times now. We've got some more difficult things to do coming up on this next part. I do want to mention, as I gloss over this fight, because we've already... Look at that. Holy shit, man. When you... Okay, so once we get past the checkpoint, which I'm going to skip out, you're going to have to bear in mind that the footage you see is going to be post one death. So once you clear this area, skip the cutscene, there's going to be a pair of enemies walking right in front of you. And basically, it's very difficult to kill them, you know, when they're right next to each other. So you might as well restart the checkpoint. Now, what we're going to do over here is we're going to be killing a couple of outliers. This is the first one over here that you can do a jump kill on, which I find really fun. Okay, so now we've got the second outlier. He's over here. Notice that there's one enemy on a dune in the middle. There's a guy examining a map to the right, and you might not have been able to see him in all the sand, but there's also a heavy over here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be picking off a few targets over here. I was trying to see if I can get a jump kill on this guy. It wasn't working. But the heavy takes his slow time to walk around the vehicle up and to the left. So mainly what we're looking for is for this guy to turn his back. You don't want to start firing on this guy until you're well protected behind the vehicle that you started out nearby. Okay, so avoid the sass. You want long-range weapons. The moment that you make noise, you're going to have a difficult situation in front of you, because you're going to have a brute coming from the right and a heavy coming from the left. Now, it might not always be those particular directions, but I do think the brute always comes from the right. The heavy could possibly come from the right too, but he normally comes from the left. So notice that this guy kind of marches down the hill a little bit quickly. So you want to throw a grenade over at him. I wish we could throw 5 goddamn grenades at one time. But he has the Pack 80, and yes, that's a... Oh, I've never mentioned too that you can't stealth kill heavies in this game as you can in the second game. Now you can jump on them like that, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now that you've killed the heavy and the brute, there's going to be just a couple more guys over here to the left, and there's also going to be a couple of guys, about 3 in total, past the archway up ahead. So just remember that, yes, the brute did drop a Pack 80 over here for us, but just because it's a strong weapon, it doesn't mean that you can't be put down any faster than normal. So over here, it should be noted that good items. There's 2 grenades that we picked up. There's a Tau sniper. There's a Gmaul, which has a good scope on it. Look how crazy I was over here. I thought I was going to get killed over here. Now we have environmental distortion to deal with, which is going to be one of the problems as we make our way to the entrance of the Atlantis area. This truck over here, this is the one with the Tau sniper. So to get the checkpoint up ahead, you have to just get to those shattered stones on the ground beyond the cover over here. So to get the checkpoint, you don't have to kill all of the enemies. In fact, what you're going to see actually is me having only killed about 2 of the 3 enemies, maybe just one of them over here. But I did reach, I reached the tripwire that gives you that checkpoint. It's a little bit in the distance beyond the pieces of cover that I was just aiming at right over there. So I would not advise being this bold, guys. I just thought that I had cleared everybody, but you're gonna notice that there's a guy here. There's also a guy to the left who ended up killing me, but I got my checkpoint. Now is the hard part. Now what you want to do is pray that when you mantle up to this cover over here, take care of it. This guy has a grenade launcher. Get him in the hell out of the way. You want to pray that you get the prompt while you're hanging on the ledge here. See how I got the prompt to pick up the RPG on the ledge there? Well, you don't always get that prompt. You get it about 2 times out of 10, I would say. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 25%, 30%, but you don't get it too often. Maybe you get it a little bit more than I do. But the threat of you dying just by mantling onto that platform where the RPG is, picking up the weapon, and then pressing circle to drop back down is one of the hardest things about this fight. Now, you might have wondered why I went to the left at first. Well, I went to the left at first because what I do is I stack my RPGs and I fire both RPGs from the right because I've always found it difficult to hit the tanks from the left. I've just always found it easier to hit the tanks from the right. So, and it's difficult no matter which way you go. If you go left or right first, it doesn't matter. It's going to be hard one way or the other. Now, of course, if you take out one tank, that's going to be one less thing firing at you. So conceivably, when you scramble from one side of the map to the other, you're going to be in less danger. I think the tank damage is on crushing difficulty. They didn't alter it. So now we're faced with the dilemma of any stragglers and any heavies. There should be about 2 heavies over here winding their goddamn horns. And now what we can do, we can use the grenades on the heavies, we can use a Tau sniper rifle, and then we can come back here, and all of the weapons that I showed you that were on this part of the map over here, they're all going to be replaced. So remember, there's 2 grenades back over here, there's the Tau sniper, there's the G-Maul. So even if you waste grenades on those heavies, you can replenish your grenades. And I would highly recommend replenishing your grenades up to 4 because although I didn't die in the checkpoint that's coming up ahead on this take, I did on the previous take, you can get into a situation, and you will. What's going to happen is they're going to give you a checkpoint after you destroy both of the tanks, but you're going to have to re-kill both heavies. And that puts you into an awkward situation if you don't have grenades. So be careful about that. Be really careful. Okay? And when you do start taking out the first tank, you're going to notice that enemies are going to be pretty aggressive coming up to you. And you want to watch out for at least two enemies marching their way up here, in addition to the heavies. So be extremely careful up here and make sure your health is completely regenerated to give you that fighting chance that you need to get to cover without getting mowed down. And honestly, the tank fire is not going to mow you down as quickly as these enemies fire because their damage is on brutal, the trucks, the turrets on crushing. So we have killed one of the tanks, but I'm going to switch to my micro over here, I believe. In part because I want to make sure that I can do a rapid amount of burst fire if anybody comes running up to me. And I also want to see if I can get the micro so that I can do my weapon switching trick with the Tau. So all you have to do to get the first checkpoint is just kill the 2 trucks with the rocket launcher. But I'm telling you, the hardest part of this is picking up the rocket launcher over there to the left. Because it's one of those things that matters absolutely zero on crushing difficulty, because mantling up to a piece of cover and grabbing something and then just, you know, falling off a ledge, that's anyone could do that on crushing at any time. But it becomes something where, you know, you're going to have a really hard time because it's on brutal. You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, it's very hard to anticipate from somebody who's making the game. You know, how something so small and seemingly insignificant could cause such a hard time for the player. But yeah, so anyway, now we've got a checkpoint. We've got a T-bolt sniper. This is a very important item because there are enemies at extremely long range. But even though you have a sniper rifle, that doesn't mean you can see them more clearly. It just means you can see in the distance a little bit more. I don't care for the visual obscurity, as most people don't. Now, you're not going to see, since I didn't die over here, you're not going to see any edits, and you're not going to see me having to re-kill heavies, but believe me, you will have to re-kill heavies if you die over here. So, with our grenades intact, we're going to make our slow and cautious way up here. And so what's happening over here is there's an enemy without a scope over there. He's the one firing, and he's the one that just hit me. Now, the ones with the scopes are mainly just to frighten you and to put you off your to make you nervous, because those guys only shoot after they lock onto you. So can we hit that bastard? See, we need to hit him a little bit. There we go. I think we killed him. The real threats on this are the two enemies on either side that aren't using scopes and are using just automatic weapons. So you've got to be really careful about that. And what does the game want of you? Well, the game wants you to advance up, and that's not the easiest thing to do on brutal difficulty. So you've got to be quite bold as you make your way up here. And what I would recommend is throwing grenades over here as much as you can. You're going to be put in unfortunate situations. See, I'm in a rather unfortunate position here because I've got two guys on either side of me, and I've got kind of piss poor cover. But at least I've got some grenades for myself, and then I can see if, you know, maybe I can make do with what I have over here. And mayhap I can go over there and charge him. There we go. Did a nice little auto throw. Hit him through the cover. Perfect. Okay, I see a little bastard over here. I'm going to do my running kick, see if we can kick the shit out of him. There you go. There you go, fucker. How's that dirt taste, bitch? Now we've got a guy with a sniper and probably just one guy left. So you might be thinking, well, I can't be this bold here. You're going to have to be. I mean, you don't have to go out of your way and risk death charging people like I am, but I was never expecting to live here. I was well expecting to die over here. But, you know, I'm telling you, on brutal, the bolder you are sometimes, the more successful you're going to be. Sounds crazy, isn't it? You know, you're going to be put down your fair share amount of times. Believe me, at the end of the guide, you're going to see my statistics of how many times I died. I died my fair share and much more. So I'm having a hard time finding this guy over here. He could have easily put me down. If you see where he ended up being right there, that's the last guy, I believe. And then you can make your way over here. And then we'll be doing a final puzzle. So hard chapter, but I wanted to come back. I wanted to redux the video, and I wanted to provide some more clarity, and especially on that first part with the motorcycle riders and the horseback caravan. So 2 chapters left, guys. Just 2 left. I have some good tactics for you on both of the videos that are coming up, and it's almost over. It's one of those bittersweet feelings, honestly, because I thought that the trilogy would take me a lot more longer to do than just the month or so that it took me. But yeah, I cleared these games really fast, but that's only because I've gone through them before. You know, it gives you that confidence to do it again. But yeah, I'm not sure why they don't let you switch your shoulders on the horse. That would make it a little bit more convenient, I think, personally. But all we have left to do is a very simple puzzle over here, and then we'll be able to go through the gates and find out what exactly lies beyond them. And we'll be dealing with a new enemy in the next chapter too. Yeah, definitely. Don't be confused with what you see on my gameplay here, because I got very fortunate, particularly with having gone through the chapter before. I just went through this chapter like less than a week ago, so I was able to speed my way through it, and I was set to go through it, and I was excited to go through it again because I wanted to. Anytime I have the ability to improve the quality of my videos, I really like to do it. Especially when I first published them, and then I watch them and I realize that there's some mistakes and errors on them that I'd rather not try to rectify with annotations. So, guys, that's been chapter 20. I'm going to see you in chapter 21, and it's going to commence right as we drop down this ladder. I will see you exactly where I mentioned that we're going to see each other. And thank you very much for watching, and please take care.